Stop whatever you're doing right now and listen carefully, because this might be the most important thing you hear today. Whether you realize it or not, women are constantly testing you. And if you fail these tests, the consequences are brutal. You lose respect, you lose attraction, and worst of all, you lose control over how you are perceived. But here's the truth: these tests are not random. They follow a pattern, a logic that most men are blind to, and those who don't understand them find themselves trapped in a cycle of frustration, rejection, and self-doubt. But what if I told you that there's a way to pass every single test with confidence and ease? What if you could become the kind of man who never flinches under pressure, who commands respect naturally, and who women see as a rare and valuable? That's exactly what the Stoic philosophers mastered centuries ago. And today, you're going to learn their secrets. Now let me warn you, if you're looking for cheap tricks, quick fixes, or mind games, this is not for you. Stoicism doesn't teach manipulation. It teaches mastery over yourself, your emotions, and the way you navigate relationships. So if you're tired of feeling like you're always walking on eggshells around women, if you want to know why they test men, and more importantly, how to pass those tests with effortless confidence, then stay with me until the end of this video. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't just another dating tip. This is a complete mindset shift, a philosophy that will turn you into a man who never has to second-guess himself again. And before we dive in, let me make something clear. Women don't test men because they enjoy watching them struggle. They do it instinctively, often without even realizing it. It's a way to filter out weak men from strong ones, to find someone who can handle the pressures of life without crumbling. And if you think you can avoid these tests by being nice or agreeable, you're already failing. Now let me ask you, how many times have you felt like a woman was playing mind games with you? How often have you tried to do everything right, only to end up feeling confused and frustrated? If that sounds familiar, it's because you've been failing these tests without even knowing they were happening. But here's where Stoicism changes everything. The great Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, understood that control over your emotions is the ultimate power. They knew that life will always throw challenges your way, and the only thing that truly matters is how you respond. And this applies to everything, including how women test you. By the time you finish this video, you'll have a complete understanding of why women test men, the different types of tests they use, and, most importantly, how to pass them every single time without losing your frame. You'll discover the Stoic principles that make you unshakable, principles that have been proven for thousands of years. And here's the most important part. There's one final test that every woman gives to a man. A test so powerful that if you fail it, no amount of attraction can save you. I'll reveal what it is at the end of this video. So before we continue, take a second and think about this. If you could become a man who is completely unshaken by the way women test him, how much more confident would you feel? How much more respect would you command? If you're serious about stepping into that level of power, then stay with me. Because what you're about to learn will not only change how you deal with women, it will change how you deal with life. And one more thing. If you're the kind of man who wants to take this transformation seriously, I have something special for you. In the description and pinned comment of this video, you'll find a link to an exclusive training where I break down these Stoic principles in even more depth, showing you how to apply them in every area of your life. But don't click it yet. Wait until the end, because the final lesson I'll share today is something you cannot afford to miss. Now let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is why women test men in the first place. The first test: resilience in the face of small challenges. Women test men all the time, often without even realizing it. Sometimes it's subtle, a teasing remark, a slight delay in responding to your message, a change in tone during a conversation. Other times it's more direct. A sudden disagreement, a moment of emotional distance, a challenge to your opinions or decisions. These are not coincidences. They are tests, instinctual and subconscious ways to measure a man's strength, stability, and confidence. And the way you react to these tests will determine how she sees you, as a leader, as a man of value, or as someone she can't fully respect. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the foundation of resilience. A woman is constantly evaluating whether you are a man who remains calm under pressure or someone who cracks under the slightest inconvenience. Why? Because stability is attractive. Strength, both mental and emotional, is what makes a man valuable. Women instinctively gravitate toward men who can remain unfazed, who are grounded, who don't let emotions control them. Think about it. Have you ever been in a conversation where a woman playfully challenges you? Maybe she says, "You really think you're that good?" Or she tests your patience by making you wait a little longer than expected. These are not random acts. They are signals, indicators of how much control you have over yourself. The man who reacts emotionally, who gets frustrated, defensive, or insecure, instantly loses. He exposes a weakness, an inability to control his own emotions. And nothing is more unattractive to a woman than a man who lacks control. A Stoic man, on the other hand, understands the game. He recognizes the test for what it is and remains composed. He doesn't react impulsively. He doesn't get defensive. He simply smiles, maintains his frame, and continues as if nothing happened. Because he knows that passing these small tests is about proving, not to her but to himself, that he is in control of his reality. Let's take an example. Imagine you're on a date and the woman you're with says, "Wow, you really think you know everything, don't you?" A weak man might become defensive. "No, that's not true. I just happen to be right about this topic." But a man with a Stoic mindset remains unshaken. He laughs, leans back and replies, "I like to think I know a little about a lot, but tell me, what's something you think I'm wrong about?" See the difference. One response is emotional, reactive. The other is playful, confident, and most importantly, unaffected. When a woman challenges you, she's not looking for the right answer. She's looking for the right reaction. She wants to see how much control you have over your emotions. Can you handle the heat? Can you maintain your frame even when she pushes? Because if you can't handle a simple test in a conversation, how will you handle the bigger challenges in life? And this is the essence of Stoicism. It teaches you to remain centered, to be unshaken by external events, to respond with logic rather than emotion. This is why women respect men who adopt this philosophy. A Stoic man is not just someone who pretends to be calm. He genuinely is calm. He doesn't fake confidence. He is confident. He doesn't seek approval because he already approves of himself. If you want to pass these tests with ease, train yourself to respond instead of reacting. Whenever you feel the urge to defend yourself, pause, take a breath, relax. Realize that you don't need to prove anything. The moment you master this, you'll notice something interesting. Women will start to respect you more. They will see you as a challenge, as someone who cannot be easily manipulated. And that, my friend, is the beginning of true attraction. The second test, emotional stability and the art of not being reactive. One of the biggest mistakes men make when dealing with women is allowing their emotions to control their actions. Women test for emotional stability more than anything else. They don't do it consciously, but instinctively. It's a survival mechanism. They need to know if the man they're dealing with can remain strong, centered, and composed under pressure. This is why small provocations exist in interactions. Maybe she teases you in front of friends. Maybe she suddenly cancels plans without A solid explanation. Maybe she brings up another guy just to see how you react. The moment you show signs of jealousy, frustration, or insecurity, she knows she has power over you. And once that happens, attraction starts to fade. Think about it. How many times have you seen a guy get overly emotional when his girlfriend is being difficult? He panics, he overreacts, he argues, pleads, or tries to fix things. This behavior screams weakness. A strong, stoic man, however, understands that he cannot control the emotions of others, only his own. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This applies perfectly to interactions with women. If she cancels plans, so what? If she teases you, laugh it off. If she acts distant, give her space. Your ability to remain emotionally unaffected is what sets you apart. Let me give you a real-world scenario. You've been talking to a woman for a while, everything is going well, and suddenly she starts acting colder. She's less engaged in conversations, takes longer to reply, and seems distant. What do most men do? They panic. They start sending more messages. They ask, "Is something wrong?" They overanalyze every little thing she does. What does a Stoic man do? Nothing, he observes. He doesn't chase, he doesn't plead for attention, he doesn't demand explanations, he simply pulls back his energy. He understands that people go through moods, and he refuses to be emotionally disturbed by them. And do you know what happens when you do this? Most of the time, she comes back. Why? Because you didn't react. Because you didn't show insecurity. Because you maintained your value regardless of her behavior. Now let's talk about social settings. Imagine you're at a party with your girlfriend and she makes a sarcastic comment about you in front of friends. A weak man might get defensive. "Why would you say that? That's not true." He lets the comment affect him. A strong man, however, knows how to handle it with grace. He smiles, nods, and responds with confidence. "Well, I had to let you win sometimes, didn't I?" He turns the situation into a playful moment, showing that he's not easily rattled. Women don't respect men who are emotionally unstable. They don't want to feel like they have to walk on eggshells around you. They want a man who can take a joke, who can handle tension, who doesn't crumble when things don't go his way. This is what emotional strength looks like. And let's be clear, this isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about controlling how you express them. A Stoic man doesn't bottle up his feelings. He channels them into productive action. He uses frustration as fuel. He turns setbacks into lessons. He faces challenges with calmness and logic. So, the next time a woman tests your emotional stability, remember this: the way you react determines everything. If you can master control over your emotions, you instantly separate yourself from 99% of men. You become the man she looks up to, the man she respects, the man who cannot be shaken. The third test: boundaries and the power of walking away. Most men don't fail because they're not attractive enough, not rich enough, or not confident enough. They fail because they don't set boundaries. They fail because they tolerate behavior that disrespects them, thinking that being understanding will make her appreciate them. But here's the truth: women don't respect men who let them walk all over them. One of the most powerful Stoic principles a man can embody is the ability to set clear boundaries, and more importantly, the ability to walk away when those boundaries are violated. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative, it's about self-respect. Let me give you a scenario. You've been dating a woman for a few months. In the beginning, she's sweet, respectful, and attentive. But over time, she starts testing you in subtle ways. Maybe she starts responding to your messages whenever she feels like it. Maybe she flirts with other men in front of you just to see how you react. Maybe she disrespects you in small ways, like rolling her eyes when you speak or making dismissive comments about your goals. Now, what does the average man do? He rationalizes. "Oh, she's just having a bad day." maybe I should try harder. If I prove my worth, she'll respect me more. He convinces himself that by being patient and understanding, she will eventually see his value. But in reality, she is testing to see what she can get away with. The Stoic man, however, doesn't tolerate disrespect. He communicates his boundaries calmly and firmly. He doesn't throw a tantrum. He doesn't get emotional. He simply makes it clear what he will and will not accept. For example, if she starts ignoring your messages for days, instead of sending multiple follow-ups, you simply stop reaching out. If she makes a disrespectful comment, you don't laugh it off. You address it directly. I don't tolerate being spoken to like that. And if the behavior continues, you walk away. Not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of principle. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop explaining why you deserve respect. Demand it through your actions. Let's break this down further. Why do boundaries work? Because they show a woman that you respect yourself more than you seek her approval. And that is one of the most attractive traits a man can have. Think about it. How many men do you know who let women treat them poorly, and instead of walking away, they try even harder to win her over? What message does that send? It screams desperation. It tells her that no matter how she treats you, you will always be there. And once she knows that, she loses all respect for you. A high-value man knows that walking away is his strongest move. This doesn't mean issuing empty threats. It means actually being willing to remove yourself from any situation that is not aligned with your self-respect. And let's be clear, this isn't about punishing women or trying to control them. It's about enforcing a standard for how you allow yourself to be treated. A woman who respects you will naturally rise to meet your standards. A woman who doesn't respect you will fall away. And that's a good thing. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I really like her? What if I don't want to lose her? That's exactly why you need to walk away. Because if you're afraid to lose her, it means she already has too much control over your emotions. Here's a reality check. The more afraid you are of losing her, the more likely you are to lose her. Women are drawn to men who are independent, self-sufficient, and emotionally secure. The moment she senses that you need her more than she needs you, the dynamic shifts. You go from being the strong, attractive man she was interested in to being just another guy trying to prove himself. So how do you cultivate this mindset? You have to become a man who genuinely believes that he is the prize. This isn't about arrogance. It's about understanding your worth. You should never fear walking away from a woman who disrespects you, because you know that your life is already complete without her. A strong, stoic man understands that attachment leads to suffering. Epictetus taught that we should never cling to things outside our control, whether it's wealth, status, or relationships. A relationship should enhance your life, not define it. So let's go back to our example. Let's say you're dating a woman who starts taking you for granted. Maybe she used to be excited to see you, but now she cancels plans last minute. Maybe she used to initiate conversations, but now she barely responds. What do most men do? They chase, they try harder. They ask, did I do something wrong? What does a stoic man do? He pulls away. He stops investing in someone who isn't reciprocating. He doesn't need to argue, complain, or seek validation. He just removes himself from the situation and focuses on what actually matters, his goals, his growth, his purpose. And here's the best part. When you do this, one of two things will happen. She will realize your value and correct her behavior. When a woman sees that she can't manipulate you, that she can't get away with being disrespectful, she will either step up or step out. She will continue her behavior, and you will be free to find someone better. Either way, you win. Because a man who respects himself never loses. There's a reason why women are drawn to men who don't tolerate disrespect. It's because it signals strength. It shows that you have options. It proves that you're not afraid to be alone. And a man who is truly independent, who doesn't seek validation, who knows his worth, that is the man who commands genuine respect. Now, here's something even more powerful. When you walk away from low-quality women, you make space for high-quality women to enter your life. The moment you start enforcing your boundaries, you naturally attract people who respect those boundaries. You stop wasting time on women who play games and start connecting with women who appreciate a man of value. So let me ask you this. Are you the kind of man who sets standards, or are you the kind of man who accepts whatever he gets? The difference between these two mindsets determines the kind of relationships you have. If you're ready to become the kind of man that women respect, admire, and desire, then stop making excuses and start setting boundaries. And here's something you need to remember: your ability to walk away isn't just about relationships. It's about everything in life. Whether it's business, friendships, or opportunities, knowing when to walk away from a bad deal is what separates the weak from the strong. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." If your ambition is to be respected, to be valued, to be a man of integrity, then start acting like one. And if this message resonated with you, then take action. Apply this. The next time someone disrespects you, don't argue, don't beg, simply walk away. Let your absence teach them what your presence once meant. The fourth test: emotional control and the power of composure. If there's one thing that separates weak men from strong men, it's emotional control. A man who cannot control his emotions is a man who cannot control his life. Women test men not just to see if they can lead, provide, or set boundaries, but to see if they can remain calm under pressure. Imagine a scenario. You're on a date and everything seems to be going well, but then she suddenly makes a sarcastic remark about something important to you, your career, your goals, or even your masculinity. She says something like, "Wow, you really think you're going to be successful with that? Or I bet other guys in your field make way more money than you." Now, what does the average man do? He gets defensive. He raises his voice. He says, "What do you mean? Of course I'll be successful. You don't know anything." He feels personally attacked and his emotions take control of his reaction. What does a stoic man do? He smiles, remains calm, and responds with unwavering confidence. He doesn't seek approval or validation. He doesn't let a woman's words shake him. Instead, he simply responds, "You're entitled to your opinion, but I know where I'm going." He doesn't need to argue. His actions will prove everything in time. This is what emotional control looks like, being unshakable in the face of tests. And believe me, women will test you emotionally. They do this not to break you, but to see if you can handle pressure. If a man gets flustered, loses his temper, or reacts emotionally, he reveals a lack of control. And nothing is less attractive than a man who lets his emotions dictate his actions. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the key to winning a woman's respect, not being ruled by external circumstances, but by internal discipline. Why emotional strength is so attractive. There's a reason why emotionally controlled men are the ones who command the most respect. When you are in control of yourself, you signal stability, and stability is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have. Women are naturally drawn to men who remain composed, who don't overreact, and who can lead even in the most challenging situations. Think about the greatest leaders in history. Do you think they allowed their emotions to dictate their decisions? No. They remained calm, made calculated moves, and carried themselves with confidence. A man who is easily shaken by a woman's words, by rejection, or by life's obstacles is a man who will always struggle. Now, how do you develop this emotional mastery? The answer is detachment. Detach from the need for validation. Detach from the fear of rejection. Detach from the desire to control everything around you. When you are detached, you no longer react impulsively. You respond with logic, not emotion. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you control how and when you express them. The test of indifference. Women are deeply attracted to men who are not easily affected by their tests. Why? Because indifference is power. When a man doesn't flinch, when he doesn't react emotionally, it sends a clear message. I am in control. I am not desperate. I am not moved by external forces. Now, don't mistake indifference for apathy. You should still be engaged in the conversation. You should still show interest, but you should never be emotionally dependent on her reaction. For example, if a woman suddenly pulls away or becomes distant, the weak man panics. He starts chasing, texting more, asking, "Did I do something wrong?" He lets his emotions take over, and the more he chases, the less attractive he becomes. The Stoic man, however, remains indifferent. If she pulls away, he simply lets her go. If she tests him, he doesn't react emotionally. Instead, he stands firm in his value. This unshakable frame makes a man irresistibly attractive. Because here's a hard truth. Women respect men they can't control emotionally. The moment she realizes she can manipulate your emotions, you've lost. How to train your emotional control. So how do you develop this emotional strength? Here are some actionable steps. Practice delayed responses. The next time someone upsets you, instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath and wait before responding. This trains your mind to control impulsive reactions. Develop self-discipline. Meditate, work out, build resilience through discomfort. A man who has trained his mind and body to handle stress is a man who naturally commands respect. Detach from outcomes. Don't be obsessed with how a woman perceives you. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself. The right women will naturally be drawn to you. Use silence as a weapon. If a woman tries to get an emotional reaction from you, sometimes the best response is no response. Silence is powerful. It forces others to question their own actions. Journal and reflect. The Stoics kept journals to analyze their thoughts and behaviors. You should do the same. Write down situations where you lost emotional control and strategize on how to handle them better in the future. A man who is in control of himself is in control of his reality. Final thoughts before the conclusion. At this point, you've learned some of the most powerful Stoic strategies that separate weak men from strong men. You've learned about the importance of passing women's tests, why setting boundaries earns respect, how emotional control is the ultimate weapon. But here's the most crucial part. None of this matters unless you apply it. Knowing this information won't change your life. Applying it will. So let me ask you, are you going to be the man who hears this and continues making the same mistakes? Or are you going to be the man who applies these principles, who levels up, and who earns the respect he truly deserves? Because here's the thing, women will continue to test you. That will never change. But what can change is how you respond. So the next time a woman tests you, remember this lesson. Hold your frame. Stand firm. Let your actions, not your emotions, do the talking. And before we wrap up, if you found this message valuable, make sure to check out my exclusive training in the description or the pinned comment below. This is where I break down these principles even deeper, helping you master true masculinity and emotional strength. Now let's move into the conclusion, where I'll tie everything together and give you the final step in your journey to becoming the man you are meant to be. You've made it this far, and that already puts you ahead of most men. The fact that you're still here, absorbing this knowledge, means that you're serious about improving yourself and understanding the way women test men, whether consciously or unconsciously. But now comes the real challenge. What will you do with this knowledge? Because let's be honest, knowing these things isn't enough. Every single day, life is going to present you with opportunities to either apply what you've learned or fall back into old habits. Women will test you. The world will test you. Your mind will test you, and only the strong will pass. One of the biggest mistakes men make is thinking that once they win a woman, the tests stop. That once they get into a relationship, once she's committed, once she says, "I love you," the challenges disappear. But that's not how it works. Women will always test a man because it's in their nature. It's not malicious. It's not done out of cruelty. It's simply the way attraction works. Women need to feel that the man they are with is strong, reliable, and worthy of respect. And how do they confirm that? By testing. Even if you're married, even if you're in a long-term relationship, even if a woman has committed to you, she will still test you. She will check if you've become weak. She will push your boundaries. She will challenge your masculinity. And the moment you start failing these tests, the moment you become complacent, is the moment the attraction starts to fade. That's why Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's not something you practice once and forget about. It's a discipline, a code, a set of principles that, when mastered, make you immune to manipulation, emotionally, unshakable, and deeply respected. Let's paint a picture of two different men. The first man is weak. He doesn't understand women's tests, so he reacts emotionally. When she pulls away, he panics. When she challenges him, he tries to prove himself. When she's upset, he tries to fix it, thinking it's his responsibility. Over time, he loses her respect because he's too predictable, too easy to control, and too needy for her validation. The second man is strong. He understands that attraction isn't about constantly trying to please a woman. It's about standing firm in who you are. When she tests him, he remains calm. When she pulls away, he gives her space. When she tries to shake his confidence, he only becomes more solid. And because of that, she respects him, desires him, and sees him as a rare man, one who is in control of himself. Which man do you want to be? The answer should be obvious. Everything we've talked about in this video leads to one final truth. A man who is mastered by his emotions, his insecurities, or his need for validation will always be at the mercy of women's tests. But a man who masters himself, who trains his mind, who builds his confidence, who holds his frame, that man becomes unshakable. And here's something you need to remember. Attraction is never about what you say. It's about what you embody. If you embody strength, women will test you but respect you. Respect. If you embody weakness, women will test you and lose interest. Your goal isn't to memorize lines or techniques. Your goal is to become the kind of man who naturally passes these tests without even trying. And that's where most men fail. They look for shortcuts. They think that saying the right words or playing mind games will make a woman respect them. But it doesn't work like that. Respect is earned through behavior, not words. To make sure you don't just listen to this video and then forget everything by tomorrow, here are 3 actionable steps. First, observe how women test you. Starting today, start paying attention. The next time a woman pushes your boundaries, challenges your confidence, or gives you mixed signals, instead of reacting emotionally, pause and analyze the situation. Second, practice emotional control. Every time you feel the urge to react, whether it's anger, fear, or desperation, stop yourself, take a breath, ask, is this reaction coming from strength or weakness? And third, work on your value as a man. The higher your value, physically, mentally, and emotionally, the easier it is to pass these tests. Build your purpose, improve your health, sharpen your mind. When you are truly valuable, women will test you, but they won't want to lose you. Now I want to challenge you, because watching a video is easy, but changing your behavior, that's the hard part. So here's what I want you to do. Go back and rewatch this video. Absorb these lessons again. Let them sink into your mind. Comment below. Which test do you struggle with the most? This is your opportunity to hold yourself accountable. If you found value here, share this video with a friend. Because let's be real, most men out there need to hear this. And one last thing, if you've come this far, you're already on the path to becoming a stronger, more respected man. But this is just the beginning. For those who are serious about taking their personal growth to the next level, I have something special for you. I've created an exclusive training designed to help men develop unshakable confidence, master their emotions, and become the type of man that commands respect effortlessly. This training goes beyond what we've discussed here. It's packed with deep psychological strategies, real-world applications, and exercises that will transform how you navigate relationships, success, and life itself. If you're ready to level up, check out the link in the description or the pinned comment. Remember, weak men make excuses. Strong men take action. The choice is yours. See you in the next video. Stay strong, stay sharp, and keep growing.